Hi, everybody. It's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer in the Northern Hemisphere. So August is going to be a busy month. I know we've got September as the eclipse season starting, but this is almost a prelude to September. That's how I saw it. And, I always pick a few statements to summarize what I think this month is about. And of course, for August, I picked the portrait of Dorian Gray and then just the word justice. The portrait of Dorian Gray is a story about ostensibly a young man to begin with, who was doing very bad deeds to people and getting away with it. But there was a portrait in the attic that really showed how he became contorted and very ugly as a result of what he was doing. It's actually a very good story. And then justice just remains on its own. There's going to be a lot of justice in August, featuring a lot of laws, featuring various parts of the justice system as well. All right, let's start off with the full moon. That full moon is going to be at 17 Aquarius, 0 degrees on the 9th of August at 12:55 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We're going to be having some of the features that are going to be happening at this moon is going to be the fact that we have Venus is going to be widely conjuncting Jupiter in Cancer. That's going to put a nice soft focus on anything that's going to be jarring to some extent, but it'll also put a focus potentially on women and this nurturing role of Jupiter here as well. Now, we've got Mars that's going to be at 1 degree of Libra, will be trining Pluto, and that's a pretty positive thing. It's kind of like taking action to transform whatever you need to transform. But in particular, because Mars is in Libra, I'm thinking there may be an increase in diplomatic relations, but also an increase in transforming the law of some sort, or maybe transforming in a way where the laws were not applied, they now get applied by those in power that hold the laws. Now, that Mars is going to be featuring at this full moon. So we talked about a nice aspect of the trine to Pluto, but we also have Mars opposite Neptune as well as Saturn. So when we look at, first of all, Mars opposite Saturn, this can bring in more irritability. From a positive side, it can actually give you an ability to do really concentrate on things. But this whole idea of maybe having an opposition, like on an individual basis, it might be your boss has something to say to you that you don't necessarily want to act on, or that you feel doesn't apply to you for whatever reason. Now, when we look at Mars in Libra opposite Neptune in Aries, this can actually bring in infections, fevers, that sort of thing. And also, of course, deception. Mars opposite Neptune can bring deception in. I think a lot of these things are going to be playing out on the world stage collectively. But if you do have some of these degree points, so when we're talking about Mars, we're talking about 1 degree of Libra, and then both Saturn and Neptune are kind of 0-1 degree of Aries. We also have this at this time, Uranus is going to be in Gemini, and hey, that's going to be sextiling both Saturn and Neptune. Mars will be sextiling that Mercury, which is going to still be retrograde. And of course, Saturn and Neptune are in close conjunction to each other. Not exact, but the influence is there. The exact is going to be around the 17th of February next year. So we have this Saturn-Neptune sextiling Pluto. And to me, this is kind of a very significant outer planet configuration. And I think this represents the big reveal, pulling the curtain back. Some people may not be happy about that. Now, Mars is going to be in Libra most of the month, emphasizing, like I said, anything to do with the law as well as diplomatic type relations. So those may be very active here. And certainly if you do have to yourself, say, get involved in that area of life, this could be very positive, make positive inroads, except for the couple things that I mentioned earlier on here. It will go direct at 4 degrees of Leo on the 11th of August. Venus is going to be spending a lot of time in Cancer. And then the Sun will be in Leo until the last week of August. And then the last week of August, that Sun will go into more conservative, fact-finding Virgo. So, when we just look at the Sun does rule Leo. But this could also be a month where we could, really enjoy ourselves. Now, enjoying ourselves can go from 1 to 100. But I would say August could be a month where you could maybe set some stuff in place where you actually enjoy whatever enjoyment is. Maybe just going to the beach, maybe walking by the ocean, maybe going into a forest, maybe just having some friends over for a barbecue. August might be a nice month with that Sun in Leo to do that. Yeah, so we have a lot of things happening in the press, but a big thing that's happening on the press right now and on YouTube and anything everywhere is this resurgence of the whole Epstein files. I'm not going to discuss them. There's so much on the internet right now that you can go and decide what you want to read or listen to. But the person that is still alive in this case, of course, is Gislaine Maxwell, who apparently aided this whole Epstein thing and was convicted. She's in jail right now. But it's really interesting because I decided just to look at her chart. If you don't want to listen to this part of my forecast or analysis, you can just skip through it. I'm not going to go into anything that she was doing. I'm just going to go into her chart, especially for not only the month of August, which may be very significant for her, but also September, the month of the eclipses. So what I did, I've got her charts here, but you'll see up here, on our screen here, her chart. And what I did was I actually did her progressed chart. She was born in December, latter days of December. And I did from December 2024 progressed chart, which actually carries on to December 2025. And so some of the things that really apply here, say for this particular month of August, is that she's got a few things happening. We talked about the full moon that I've just spoken about is at 17 degrees of Aquarius. Well, her south nodes are at 17, 18 degrees of Aquarius in her 10th house of reputation, social standing, career. What are you doing in your life? And that's about to change. This full moon is going to change that for her. And as conjunct her south node says she's going to be letting go of something. Now, when we look at the new moon, which I am going to discuss next, that new moon is at 0 degrees of Virgo in some minutes. Well, her Uranus, as you can see up here, is at 0 degrees of Virgo in her 4th house of home and family. So there's going to be a new start in some way for her, an unexpected new start as that new moon conjuncts her Uranus. And in the 4th house, it says a new moon with regards to where she lives. And a new moon also suggests her family will take on a new role, maybe in particular her mother, if she's, I don't know if she's still alive, but that could sort of happen here too. Yeah, and I looked at some of the other configurations for September. And as you can see here in the chart, her progressed Venus is at almost 15 degrees of Pisces. Well, where is that first eclipse in September? 15 degrees of Pisces. And it's a total full moon. That's on the 7th of September. I've done a whole video on the eclipses for this year. I put the link below here. I'll discuss it to some extent in my September video here too. But this falls in her 11th house. In addition to being friends and groups, And that type of influence in your world, it's also the house of hopes, dreams, and wishes. And with Venus, Venus likes to attract things in. So there could be some big change also around the 7th of September for her in this area of her life. I mean, the big thing for her is going to be next year, and that would be next August, where we have a total new moon eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. Because that's going to conjunct her north nodes that are almost 19 degrees of Leo in her 4th house. So August next year could be significant for her in terms of a change of where she lives. The other thing I thought was interesting for this year is her progressed moon is at 25 degrees of Scorpio, right opposite Uranus, transiting Uranus in the 12th house. And so this says to me also, this birthday year, she could have some unexpected thing happen in that 12th house. So the 12th house does rule prisons, as well as hospitals and hidden places and spirituality. But that Uranus, transiting Uranus, is going to be opposite her progressed moon in the 6th house. So there could be some big change that comes unexpectedly, perhaps to do with her being in prison. That's a very emotional, a deep emotional thing for her. That changes her daily habits. The 6th house is habits, right? In terms of habits that you do day to day, activities that you do day to day. Typically, that would be our job, but it's also our health. So both these areas of life may be brought up as well during this time period. All right, I'll stop there with her and go on to our next lunation. Our next lunation is going to be a new moon in Virgo, and it's 00 Virgo, 23 minutes on the 22nd of August at 11:07 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Now we know that Mercury is now direct. It's not out of shadow yet, but it is going direct here, right? And as a reminder, it goes direct at 4 degrees of Leo. Now, Mercury at this time is going to be at the same degree that Venus retrograde in September 2023 went direct at. And so I thought that was interesting too, that there may be an activation, right? Because in September 2023, that Venus retrograde going direct was at 12 degrees of Leo. Yeah, and of course, we've also had a Mars retrograde that finished off a while back. So this whole area of Leo is being activated again. There could be some, if you do have something, say, around that 12-degree mark, there could be some important communication that either you receive or that you send out to other people with the influence of that Mercury on top of the degree point that Venus went direct at in 2023. Now, because this moon is at 0 and sun is at 00 of Virgo, it really does emphasize the beginnings of a sign, right? And it's a critical degree. It really says to me there's this big, big ushering in of newness, especially regarding important information. Could also have something to do with service of some sort. It could also have something to do with our health. But important information is going to come to light, is what I really got when I looked at this 00 placement of Virgo. Now, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and it will be conjuncting this point of this new moon of 0 degrees of Virgo on the 3rd of September. Note that 3rd of September as being an important time, I think, collectively, for whatever important information has to come in will be coming in. Just take the whole week of that 3rd of September. And certainly if you have something around these degree points, so we're talking really 0 degrees, 0, 1, maybe even 2 degrees of Virgo, and you're expecting some, maybe signing an important contract, waiting to hear about something, it may not be at this new moon on the 22nd of August exactly. It may be actually around the 3rd of September. Just a heads up on that. Venus is going to be squaring Chiron That's not good for our health. There could be some health crisis that comes up at this time. Nicely, though, we're going to have Jupiter trining the north nodes. That's positive outlook for our future, connected in with the newness. We will have Mars widely squaring Jupiter. Usually you can't get a bad aspect with Jupiter, and even the square can bring in some positive movement forward for those folks that need it. Uranus, though, will be squaring this new moon and sun. So this is upsets. You're going to be desiring to break free of something with this influence of Uranus square. So even though this is a new moon, things like the Mars squaring Jupiter, Uranus squaring the new moon and sun can suggest that it's not all going to be straightforward. But hey, if you're looking to get free of something, that could happen with the square. It could work out positively for you, right? But I think there's going to be, going back to what I said at the beginning, a huge breakthrough on important information that allows us to take some newness with regard to whatever it is that comes up. And with Mercury going direct, sextiling that Mars in Libra, it again points back to the legal rulings, also pertaining to this new moon in Virgo. Now, Mercury will be conjuncting the full moon in Leo and opposing the moon in Aquarius on the 26th and 27th of August. So we then talk about Mercury conjuncting the sun that was opposite the full moon in Aquarius. And then, of course, opposite the actual full moon that I spoke about at the beginning of this video, activating that whole full moon, whatever came up, towards the beginning of August. And like I said, that's going to be on the 26th, 27th of August. More information comes in. So I would say that, to me, this month of August, the feature type things here, the planets, are really the personal planets. And in particular, Mercury and Mars are going to be operating here to make things happen, to bring things to light. So there may be a little frustrations, but also you could break free maybe of some things that have been holding you back. And in some cases, maybe holding you back for your whole lifetime. They're going to pounce forward here, right? I'm just going to mention my appearances again that I'm going to be having at San Diego Astrological Society here in San Diego. I'll put the links below here in the text box, but I will be attending a volunteer event. It's called a bazaar, where they have all these types of astrologers, tarot card readers, anyone in the metaphysical arts coming in to volunteer their time. And you, the public, can come in, pay a very small fee, and access all these people during an evening. Usually it starts around 7 in the evening, and that'll be in August. But again, I'll put the links here below so you can get a better idea. Would love to see everybody. I'll be giving my lecture on decans. That'll be in September. I will record it, though, as I said last month, and post it for you if you can't get down, but it'd be great to see you. Now, when we look at this, the peak into September, of course, now we're starting into eclipse season month, which, like I said earlier, I think August is going to be a prelude to what September is going to give us. And what is it going to give us? It's going to give us that total full moon at 15 of Pisces. The new moon will be at that critical anaretic degree of 29 degrees Virgo, and Uranus will go retrograde in Gemini. Talk more about that next month. So when we look at maybe some people that may be in our world that are affected by that Mercury retrograde going direct at 4 degrees of Leo, and, you know, I've spoken about Leo representing royalty to some extent, right? Literally. And I looked at both Prince Charles and Queen Camilla's chart. And it's interesting because they have kind of parallel things in their chart, not everything, but in particular their ascendant, both their ascendants are in Leo. And we've got King Charles has his at 5 degrees, and Camilla has hers at 4 degrees. This really suggests that they will both be giving some kind of joint statement about some aspect of their life. The ascendant really says, I need to, and Mercury on top of it going direct says, we've given a lot of consideration to something and we want to tell you something as a joint statement. So expect something like that, sometime after Mercury goes direct on the 11th of August. But the other royal person that has something going on here is actually Charlene of Monaco. Her Sun and Venus in Aquarius and her 10th house also has this, and it also widely conjuncts her Mars in the 4th house of home. So this 4 degree of Leo opposes her Sun and Venus, but conjuncts her Mars. It suggests two things. She's going to get an opportunity to change her home in some way, but also to change her reputation, her social standing, and potentially her career. So I just thought that she may be making an announcement too. Well, good luck to all of them. So moving on to look at your individual sun sign and or ascendant, I suggest you look at your ascendant first to get the area of your life that may be affected, and then look at the sun just to get maybe some extra information. Observe what happens over the month of August, and then make adjustments as you feel is appropriate. But it's whatever resonates with you, right? So Pisces, that a full moon in Aquarius falls in your 12th house. And so there may be some emphasis on things behind the scenes for you. What could some of those things be? Well, some of those things could be, maybe you've been going for physical therapy to a hospital or a hospital outpatient type thing. And this is your last visit. And you can say, wow, I've put a lot of effort into this. And now I can stop going there. That could be. Or maybe you're getting some infusions of some sort in a hospital. And your doctor says, well, that's it now. Wrap it up. For still others, maybe you've been pursuing some kind of metaphysical part of your life, maybe some education of some sort. Maybe you've been setting up over the past while some kind of social media accounts, and you finally finalize it, right, at this full moon in Aquarius. When we look at Mercury going direct at 4 Leo on the 11th of August, that falls in your 6th house. So there's going to be some Pisces that have been negotiating a new job, that's 6th house. Still others may be working hard at putting together and communicating with experts to get their health in better order, right? Maybe even consulting a nutritionist takes off for you. You get who you want to work with. Maybe somebody with regards to an exercise program as well. But this also can be mental health too, right? It can emphasize for sure maybe some negotiations for some Pisces that maybe wanted to change their job, maybe you wanted to get a promotion, and you've been negotiating that and maybe negotiating more money. Then this Mercury goes direct. I'd wait for a few days and you get the message that you wanted to hear regarding this job, regarding your health as well. And it's also small animals. So there may be some Pisces that literally get a small animal coming their way as well. They get the message that, hey, this furry little animal that you've wanted is available to pick up. And that's a happy day for you. When we look at that new moon in Virgo, well, we know that Virgo is opposite to you, right? And it involves your 7th house. So it's a new start, but there's going to have to be some involvement of either a business partner or partnerships, a marriage partner, and or clients. Now, this could just be, for some Pisces, you setting up some new initiative that involves clients, or setting up a new business partnership, and the new start is in that area. But the new start could also be a new start with your partner that you are looking at and that you are affected by. I mean, Pisces, you've got your full moon, total full moon eclipse early in September that's coming up too. So pay attention to what happens in a new way, because there could be a big illumination put on you personally early September as a result of whatever this new thing is. Yeah. And, for still others, if you're looking to meet the love of your life or a potential either business partnership or marriage partnership, they could come in here at this new moon. Mhm. Take care, Pisces. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. I hope we all get an opportunity in August to have some fun. That's what I'm left with here, and to maybe let things, not take things so personally and let things fall off our shoulders a bit and say, let's look for some situation here where I can enjoy myself in this month of August. We've got September as a big eclipse month. I've already discussed a little bit about that. But I do have my video here below if you would like to listen to the actual eclipses I discuss in detail, and I go into your ascendants and sun signs too. September's next. Stay tuned. Take care of yourself. I'm always interested in doing your chart, and I always love to hear from you in the comments. Please take care, and lots of love sending your way. Bye for now.